Cue jazz, hip hop, lo-fi music in the background. Yeah, this video is gonna be different. First and foremost, okay, guys. I just want to say thank you all, like every single last one of you guys, for just what's happening right now. Like this is such a weird time for sure, and just the fact that there's over 30,000 of you guys just showing so much love and creating such an awesome community for this channel is just something I'm forever in your debt towards. And the fact that I'm even making this video is something I never thought in a lifetime I would be doing, but I'm so happy to have done it during this time, and I just wanted to take the time before we get into this long Q&A to just say thank you. And I know that these trying times are difficult, and I'm beginning to realize that these videos aren't just, giving value on an educational level in terms of filmmaking, but it also helps you guys and also definitely helps me on a humane level, just having a person to talk with and a community to belong to, and, being able to be accepted and loved and share common interest with other people, especially now, is something that I think a lot of people take for granted prior to this whole thing that was happening. And the fact that this YouTube channel, James versus Cinema, it's not just James, it's you guys too. You guys make this entire thing what it is. So I just want to say thank you to every single last one of you, hence why I'm doing this video. And before we get into it, again, this is going to probably be a long one. So, you guys have asked incredible questions that I can't wait to answer. I took the time to crop every single one. So I'll make sure to put up the questions and stuff on here too, including like the username. If I didn't come across your question, I apologize. Just kind of know that there was a lot. There was a lot from the YouTube channel itself and also from the Patreon as well too. So I'm going to do the Patreon ones first because the Patreon community is, OG. You guys are OG. So we're going to do those first, but I am doing everyone's comments on this video. So that's YouTube and Patreon. So definitely, whatever you're doing, listen to this when you're doing the dishes, you're cleaning your room, you're studying, doing something. Just kind of treat this as a podcast. You don't have to sit down and watch this entire video. I'd rather have you listen to it. So if that's something that you're interested in and, you definitely want to just kind of tune out, I definitely recommend that. So without further ado, guys, now that I got that situated, I hope you guys like this. I got a little tape on this bell because it kept ringing and I don't want that to annoy you guys, but I'm all decked out in the Christmas spirit. I hope you guys are having a great holiday. I'm not sure whether or not this comes out prior to Christmas or after, but regardless, I hope you guys are enjoying that with family and friends. Or if you're unable to do that, then I hope that this video is able to keep you in good company. So without further ado, guys, let's hop into this beautiful Q&A. Gary, what's up, my man? Gary says, favorite cinematographer, Roger Deakins, 100%. He's just incredible. Michael, I've noticed that you prefer to react to movies from the last 30 years. Is there a reason for that? And would you like to start reacting to some classic older films? If so, tell us what are some classic films that you always wanted to watch and see if people are interested. Thank you for the reactions. It's hard to find such good channels. Michael, my man, I appreciate you. Yes, I'm definitely going to look forward to tapping into more older films for sure. I can already say, I've seen Citizen Kane, and I think Citizen Kane is probably one of my favorite older films I've seen. There is a lot of French films that I can't really recall the names of, but if I saw it, then I definitely have, can show that I've watched it prior. But yeah, I know there is a whole desire for people out there on this channel that want to look more into the older films, and I think there's a lot to say and in an educational realm with that as well too. So stay tuned for that. This channel, believe it or not, is still very new, so I'm just making sure that the steam that's kind of going on right now, the rhythm that I have going on with this channel is at a good pace for everyone, because people are still finding out about this. So once this channel was like nice and cozy and locked in and suited for whatever, that's when we can really start experimenting. So yeah, stay tuned, Michael. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good day too, man. Sarah, you said, what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue filmmaking as a career? Best advice I would say is stay away from the politics of it. Stay away from the politics of it and do it for the sole reason for, your happiness, for your creativity. You don't have to enter filmmaking because of a director or a producer that you admired or anything like that. Be very selfish for the reasons why you're getting into filmmaking, because it is, at the end of the day, an artistry. It's a field within the arts, and art has to do with a lot of self-reflection. So make sure when you're going into filmmaking, be selfish about your filmmaking. Do it because you like to do it. Do it because it makes you happy. It makes you sad. It inspires you. And just do it because it's something that you want to do. So that's the best advice I can give to someone who wants to, pursue the art of filmmaking. There's so many ways to do it now. Do it because you want to. LG, what is the hardest part about being a filmmaker? There's not really a brick road to follow, and that can cause for a lot of problems. Not a lot of problems, but unexpected challenges that can come forth to a filmmaker. We have these golden standards already. Like when we think of a filmmaker, we think of someone who does movies, and movies are these giant productions, when in reality a filmmaker is someone, in my opinion, who tells a story. So the greatest challenge that I always come across is meeting these crazy expectations from people who say, oh, you're a filmmaker? What movie did you create and that I saw on the AMC? It's never really like that. So make sure, again, commenting back to the previous question, that you're becoming a filmmaker for your reasonings. And that doesn't mean that you're not a filmmaker. A filmmaker is someone who creates visual storytellings and showcases their narrative through the art of visual storytelling. So yeah, that's probably the greatest challenges, like these bizarre expectations on young filmmakers or just anybody starting in the field of filmmaking. Jessica, what's up? Which directors have influenced your style? I would say not a lot of directors have influenced my style. It was more so just a combination of everything influencing my style. But a director who I greatly admire is Christopher Nolan. 100%. Red Tail Zephyr. Okay, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. I'm just going to call you Red Tail, homie. Will you do a Criterion reaction channel to go with your current channel? Lots of classics that I don't see many reactors do. 100%. Again, I do plan on stepping into more older films as well. I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of that with the Come and See video, and you guys showed a lot of love. Shout out to my Russian audience out there. There is a great love and appreciation I have for Criterion films, or just films of an older generation, that I find a lot of interesting conversations can come from that. So stay tuned for that as well, too. Hope you're having a happy holidays, man. Rowan Simpson says, which actors and actresses would you like to work with given the chance? Actor, Jake Gyllenhaal. Actress, I would say Margot Robbie, because of the simple fact that I have a crush on her. I'm sorry. Young Siegel, you are offered unlimited money and creative. Oh, okay. I like this one. I saw this. This was pretty funny. You are offered unlimited money and creative control to make a personal project for the rest of your life, but your fingers will permanently be covered in hot Cheeto powder. Do you take this deal? Okay, well, first off, we have to get into what type of Cheeto powder is it? Is it the cheese puffs? Is it the hot Cheetos? Oh no, you said hot Cheetos. Okay, that does make a difference then. All right. Dang. Permanently covered. I probably won't take this deal. I'll be too distracted. What if I wanted to give a high five to a PA or something like that? Or, I mean, no one wants to be around somebody with hot Cheeto powder all on their fingers. That's just kind of weird. So I wouldn't take the deal. That was a good one though. Mr. Zilla says, what is your least favorite movie that you've seen? My least favorite movie that I've seen. Oh man. My least favorite movie. My least favorite movie. Dragon Ball Evolution. I've never wanted to destroy someone as much as after I saw Dragon Ball Evolution. And for those of you that saw that film, if you want to even call it that, I pray for you. Brittany, she says, are there any movies that you don't end up liking that you react to in more positive way on your channel so as to not disappoint your viewers who recommended it? No, not necessarily. I do my best to speak my mind on a lot of films on this channel, and if I don't like something, then I don't like it. I will say this: there was a video I tried to get uploaded, but it just kept getting blocked on YouTube over and over and over again. Like, I spent 2 days trying to get it working, and that was 28 weeks later. And that was something that you guys have recommended, and at first I really liked it. However, towards the end of, not the end, towards the bulk of the movie, I was like, this is nowhere near the same level of passion and love I can see with 28 Days Later, its predecessor. So that was one of the films I didn't like, and unfortunately I'm unable to kind of show that to you guys on YouTube because it kept getting blocked. But yeah, I kind of like expressed my disliking of certain aspects of that film, of that. So maybe I might put it on my Patreon. You guys let me know. Mitchie D, who are your top 3 actors and directors, and have you thought of doing a crossover in reactions with someone like Brandon Likes Movies or Cinema Rules? Okay, so I'm going to answer the second one because I think I'll probably answer the first one a lot throughout this. Brandon Likes Movies, hell yes. Cinema Rules, hell yes. Somebody tell Brandon to make an Instagram. Yeah, me and Cinema Rules, we follow each other on Instagram and everything like that. There's some awesome things in the works, so, you know, look out for that. But yes, Brandon is someone who I definitely can't wait to just, you know, do an awesome collaboration, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, someone please tell him to make an Instagram or any other social media so we can just like talk or something. Yeah, shout out to you guys. I love y'all. Cypher says, since I'm curious what kind of other creators and projects you like, if you could have worked on any movie you've seen in any position, job, what movie and position would it have been? I'm going to say Blade Runner 2049, and I want to say the production designer, Dennis Gassner. He's also the production designer of 1917, and I actually got a chance to talk with him personally. Just being a production designer in movies like those, especially Blade Runner, oh my goodness. Like, talk about just an incredible world building experience. That's something that I would have loved to be a part of in that field for that film. James Miller asked, what's a favorite shot from any movie you've ever seen? All right. Favorite shot. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love the Blade Runner 2049, where it's like the deep orange, and I forgot the actual main character's name, but he's just kind of walking in like, what was it, Vegas, and it was deserted, but there was this deep orange glow to it, and he's just walking in the center with that Hans Zimmer music just blaring in the background. Yeah, when I saw that in theaters, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was incredible. That's my favorite shot so far. I'm pretty sure there's more, but I just can't think of any. Mathis asked, who do you think is more skilled actor, Jake Gyllenhaal or Christian Bale? Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, dude's like, he's just awesome. But Christian Bale is just incredible. But my personal favorite is Jake. I mean, he's the homie. Mike B asks, what's your interests, passions outside of cinema? If you hadn't focused on film school, etc., what was your backup plan, if you had one? I actually did not have a backup plan. My plan B was to make sure plan A works. And it was more so just like, I guess you could say my interest is very entrepreneurial. I love being able to be my own boss and, you know, attack avenues through the means of my creativity. So I guess being a musician, probably 100%. I think being a musician, I love music. Music is such a cornerstone to just who I am as a person. So definitely a musician. Maybe like a producer, like Flying Lotus or something like that. Sebastian asks, you get to spend 24 hours with a movie director, living or dead. Who would it be and why? All right, so dead, I'm going to say Charlie Chaplin. I say him because I just find just the fact that I was able to laugh at his films. Like, I bursted laughing at his films, and I'm not like the person where I just laugh at anything, stupid or anything. Like, he was able to genuinely make me crack up with no sound, but just pure acting. I would love to pick his brain and just be his friend because he just sounds like he's a really good time. And living, Christopher Nolan, 100%. I love the homie. He's dope. He's incredible. I think he has so much love and passion for storytelling, and I would love to just, I don't know, eat some dinner with him or something. JKL, favorite books. Vagabond, Vinland Saga, Naruto. What else? Berserk. Those are my favorite books. John A. Just wondering what projects you're working on at the moment. I'm actually working on a script at the moment. It's been pretty slow because with me, I have to kind of like really get into my creative zone, and that has been kind of like withheld a little bit with the whole, pandemic that's happening right now. But yeah, that's something that I'm working on, and I'm always working on personal projects for me as well too. If you go to my Instagram, I'm always doing these really cool minute short clips, and just really massaging the muscle of my creative brain, and just doing some weird stuff. I'm always doing weird stuff. X Kozer said, is there any movie that you feel could have directed better than the actual person who directed it, or maybe just a movie you wish you could have directed because you had your own vision for it? I probably wouldn't be able to have I probably would have been able to direct Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Evolution, and what was it, The Last Airbender better. No offense, M. Night Shyamalan, but like, I don't know, I just feel like that Last Airbender movie, man, that was a rough one. But yeah, I would say that my own vision for it, yeah, definitely those films for sure, because I have a great love for Dragon Ball Z and The Last Airbender, and I could have done leagues better. I think anybody could have done leagues better than that. So yeah, those are the films. Crystal asked, what are your top 3 movies to watch when you feel sad and want to feel happy? When I feel sad, I like to watch Her. When I feel happy, I like to watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is actually one of my favorite movies ever. Kim asks, what do you think of the French New Wave films, and which directors and films have you seen? My personal favorite is Godard because I relate to him more than any other director. Also, in your Lady Bird video, you mentioned wanting to talk about your moving to California experiences. Now, yeah, the moving to California experience is probably going to be a whole other video. I think there's so much to talk about there that a lot of people just won't talk about, so I'll make sure to dedicate an entire video for that because, man, oh man, it's a really good talk, and I think it has a lot of potential value for you guys, just for anybody in general, outside of filmmaking, But yeah, I would say my favorite French new wave of cinema. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I love La Haine. La Haine was just incredible. That you guys blew me away with that. That's still one of my favorite watches so far on the channel. 100% that. I can't think of any other off the top, but to recommend you something that you'll probably really enjoy because it does, pertain to French New Wave of cinema, look into the anime Monogatari series. Please do it. Even Durarara, I mentioned it before. Look into those. I think you'll really like it. Duck Gel said, Desert Island movie. What would be my desert island movie? I'm just going to go with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Man, that is just such a good time. It's such a good time. I love that movie, if you couldn't tell. Baptiste, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Asked, what's your earliest memory of movies, and what movies did you watch that made you think, yup, that's what I want to do with my life? I'm gonna answer that second question. I'm gonna answer the second question. I would say the the movie that made me go yup. Hmm. That's difficult because I don't think it was movies that made me want to do what I'm doing now. It was probably anime. It was probably anime for sure. Yeah. And what anime would that be? Probably the Monogatari series. Maybe that. I'm trying to think of what would be a movie that would do that. I mean, Interstellar is also a really good one. Blade Runner, you know? Oh man. Yeah, I mean, there's so many forces outside of what made me want to become a filmmaker, outside of movies that made me want to become a filmmaker. So, yeah, it's a good question. I might have to give that a little bit more thought, but I would say a combination of everything. It wasn't just movies. We got Ramsmus asked, do you think that it's important to be able to separate the art from the artist, or do you think that the two shouldn't be separated, i.e., the artist could potentially cloud the greatness of their art? That's always a really difficult question, but I do believe there is a balance, and that balance does come to the individual and what they think towards that artist. You know, like I can easily separate the artist from their work, but then I can just as easily, increase my love for the art because of the artist. It just kind of depends on what it is that they're creating, who they are as a person at that time. It's a very gray area, and it depends on just where they are, what they've created, how they're creating it. I don't think that there is a solidifying line with it. It just dances back and forth. So that's my answer towards that. Patrick asked, did you have figures in your life who modeled positivity to you, or have you developed this yourself in response to a less than positive environment? No need for specifics. And if you have developed this yourself, for God's sake, man, pass on the secret. Okay. A combination of both, I would say, but a little bit with the second, where I kind of developed it myself. I kind of kept to myself a lot, and the environments weren't necessarily the best. But that's why, filmmaking is such an incredible thing. And just art is an incredible thing, because I was able to find positivity through anime, through manga, through comic books, through, movies, through scripts. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it, because when you're in environments where that specific thing, where leadership is lacking, I can turn to a Naruto or a Jiraiya or a character within whatever art form, and almost reflect myself from that and apply it into real life. So yeah, I mean, that's my answer towards it. Can you have this? 100%. I'm happy that you think that of me as well. I think you're probably doing a really good job yourself with it as well too. So I would say, whenever you're feeling down, really do try your best to turn towards like artists, and allow yourself to reflect on the subjects within those art. Jared Byard. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna call you Jared. Jared, favorite movie, or not? Jared, favorite anime. Okay. As an art form, Monogatari series. Just favorite anime in general, Naruto. That's an OG. Cody Price asked, what would be your dream project to adapt if you were able to get the rights to it? Star Wars. I have a literally incredible idea for Star Wars that I'm obviously not going to tell you guys, but but just know that it's incredible. And if I had the rights to it, not gonna lie, I think it would be like George Lucas would probably want to be my father and son me, because of just how much of an awesome story it would be. I think it would show a lot of respect and love for his world. That is very different from the movies that are out right now. I'm not going to say too much about it though. Nick asked, who are some of your favorite characters from film, television, and why? I mean, honestly, I loved Yo, honestly, okay, here we go. I'm gonna say Daredevil. Daredevil for sure. I mean, you guys are watching it now with me. I mean, season 3 is just off the charts. It's off the charts. You know, Philip Cox does a incredible portrayal of Daredevil, and then you have the Punisher, and all these other beautiful characters. I don't like a single character in that show in terms of like were they poorly written. I think every one of them are just executed with so much passion. So yeah, Daredevil 100%. Dustin asked, where did you study film and what originally made you want to study film? Physically, I graduated with my bachelor degree in film and media arts from Temple University. What made me want to study film? It was more so that I'm always an artist, and film allowed me to express my artistry not only to the maximum potential, but also with the most accurate depiction of what I want to showcase, what's going on in my brain. Paul asked, apart from all the standard bio stuff, what, when, where, I would like to know what makes you go, well, that's cool, but I'm going to pass on that one, both in a professional and a personal context. Okay. All right, so professional. Professional context. This is an interesting question. Let me know if I'm answering this right. As in a professional context, probably like a lot of the politics involved with films. Like maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool, but like I'm gonna pass because it defeats the purpose of why the film is being made. I think there's a interesting balance between obviously pleasing people, but then also pandering to people. And I think there's a lot of pandering, and pandering can be very disingenuous towards just not only the art that you're trying to create, but also to the audience that you're trying to showcase the art to. So that's something that I'm like, oh yeah, I get it, but like, nah, I'm good. As a personal context, probably other people's macaroni and cheese. Probably other people's macaroni and cheese. When people say, oh yeah, I made it out of this and that, it has all different. Nah, I'm good. I'll stick with my mom's baked mac and cheese. I'm sorry. You're going to have to, I'm going to have to know you very well in order to try out your mac and cheese. So there's that. Leo asks, what's your favorite TV show? Ooh, my favorite TV show. I guess we're still sticking with films here, so I'm not going to mention any anime. But my favorite TV show is most definitely Dark. Dark, yeah. Oh, such a good show. And if you haven't seen Dark, please get to knowing. Timothy asks, which director have influenced your work the most? I don't think any director influenced my work. However, I can definitely see me pulling knowledge and inspiration from people like Christopher Nolan, and more in particular in terms of photography and cinematography, Wes Anderson. I mean, like, dude, like he's just incredible with the camera. I mean, just every frame is a painting, 100%. And also the director of Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I'm forgetting her name, but man, that film is probably still the most gorgeous film I've seen so far on this channel. All right, so we're about to get into the YouTube comments here. Here we go. Guys, again, I hope you guys are good. I just want to say, like, thank you guys so much for this. I mean, we're just going to go onward and upward from here. So, again, I hope that you guys are playing this while you're doing the dishes, while you're cleaning your bed, Maybe you're just chilling, sipping some tea. Or if you're older, you might be sipping some, a little bit more stronger on the taste. Enjoy your holidays. I hope that you're cozy. I believe I have some really nice, chill, lo-fi, jazz, hip-hop beat in the background. So, yeah, treat this like a podcast. Unless you just like watching me sit on a yoga ball in front of this Christmas tree with a Christmas sweater that says Diner Claus or whatever the heck. And if that's your thing, hey, I mean, there you go. So let's get into the YouTube comments here. Here we go. So we got John, who asked, Is there a movie regarded as great by most people that you dislike? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I can't think of any. But oh my god, I'm almost dropping the thing and everything. Jesus. But I can't think of anything off the top. And trust me, I sat here and thought about it. But what I'll do is I'll flip your question and ask myself, is there a movie that everybody dislikes that I like? Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is great. I think Man of Steel is wonderful. I think if they just took out the plot of his father, dying in the tornado and instead had him die from like cancer or a disease, I think that would have made Superman's character even like leagues better, because Superman is like invincible and he's unable to stop this disease that's killing his father. I think that would have been incredible instead of his dad dying to a twister. Gavin asks, do you listen to film scores outside of watching the films? And if so, what scores? I love the scores for There Will Be Blood, Blade Runner, anything John Williams, etc. Yes, 100%. When Spotify gave their, I believe their list of genres you listen to, I had movie soundtracks on there. It was like one of the top 5. And I always listen to, I love listening to anything with Hans Zimmer. He's just beyond incredible. But I love the Gone Girl soundtrack. I love Blade Runner, the older Blade Runner. I love Her. Her has a beautiful soundtrack. What else? Mandy's phenomenal with the freaking synth wave that happens in that. Oh my goodness. What else? Yeah, I think that's a good amount for you. Yeah, I always listen to any types of music, any types. All right, Chris asked, when did you become a film person? Like caring about shots, color, tone, etc., all the important things that make a movie. I would say when I became an artist, because prior to that, I was just a person who really liked, movies. But when I started to become an artist and wanting to create, that's when you start dipping into the creation aspects of things. It's like, oh, okay, well, this color, I don't just like it now. Like, I am noticing the depths of things. And I think that's a perfect way to actually describe it, is when, I became a film person when I started respecting the level of depth of artistry that was not even just from what was being shown to me on screen, but the whole process of, making a movie or making a film, there's so much that happens and intention that goes with every single shot, and also the lack of attention, and then you filling out the blanks yourself. There's a whole lot with that. So I think that's when I started becoming a film person, or an artist, I guess you can say. We got Mr. Mata. I'm just going to call you Mr. I've definitely caught some of the hip-hop references you've dropped since I've been subscribed, and I remember you replying that you're subscribed to Dead End Hip Hop. So I'm curious what some of your favorite hip-hop albums are. Got you. Anything with Kendrick Lamar, 100%. Anything Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. My favorite hip-hop album to this day is 100% How to Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City. Those are just, those are movies. When you want to talk about visual storytelling, Kendrick Lamar did a phenomenal job with Good Kid, Mad City in terms of just, putting in a visual narrative. It was one of a kind. I mean, he bodied that. So that's probably my favorite album of all time right now. Favorite directors of all time? I would say Christopher Nolan and me. Yeah, Christopher Nolan, 100%. He's probably one of my favorite right now. Oh, and Dennis Villeneuve. I'm sorry, homie. I keep mispronouncing your name, but Dennis, the guy who's doing freaking Dune, who did Prisoners, who did Sicario, who did Blade Runner. You guys get the point. He's also incredible. Is a reaction to Blade Runner 2049 in the works? Would love to hear your thoughts on Roger Deakins' cinematography or any other element of the film, if I'm being honest. I would like Blade Runner 2049. I've seen that film like a billion times, and it's still one of my top 5 films of all time. It's definitely one of my favorite shots of all time by obviously my favorite cinematographer, Roger Deakins. And yeah, I could talk for days on that, but I'm really trying to save that video for a special occasion to when I could potentially maybe get somebody who actually worked on the film. And I do know Dennis Gassner, who, you know, is the production designer on that film. And I would love to save that video with hopefully in him in my presence as well. And we can kind of like, you know, talk more about the film together. So I'm hoping on saving that video for a special occasion. Fallacies. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry. Who's a throwback actor that you admire? Why he or she is a personal favorite? And what would be the type of film they would make a comeback in? A comeback in. That's a good question. You see, I was gonna say Adam Sandler, but like he made a comeback. He made a comeback. I really like Adam Sandler. You know, he's a very interesting person. Oh man, John Malkovich. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I'm able to even answer that. I can't really think of anybody who I would love to make a comeback with. Yeah. Maybe Dave Chappelle. I don't know. And what type of films? Something very weird. Something very weird. Something very A24 like. Could you imagine a Dave Chappelle in an A24 film? Exactly. So I think that'll be the greatest comeback. But he's already back. He's killing it. Katarina, I'm gonna say it with that. Katarina said favorite films of all time: Blade Runner 2049, Her, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the B movie. No. Christopher Binder said or asked, are there personal stories that you're passionate about committing to filming one day, going all in? Probably not. I don't think there's anything in my personal life that I feel as though needs to be a full-blown experience for others. I'd rather depict the feeling of that or the emotion that I had in those moments and creating a whole different realm for it, you know? So instead of it being like almost like an autobiography, it's more like like an adventure film, you know, but the themes of my life and the life that I've lived are in that film. So that's probably what I'd probably do. My life isn't too interesting, guys. Kieran asked, do you ever hear a song and start thinking about how you could make a scene soundtracked by that song? Always. Every single day. Like every single day. Every single time I listen to music, not a time goes by where I'm like, man, like this would be such an incredible scene. In fact, if you go on my Instagram, a lot of the experimental films or takes that I do are, you know, inspired by music. You know, I think music has a great way of rhythm and guiding the emotion that a film can have, you know, and that's something that I do all the time. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love listening to movie soundtracks, because I'm able to transform them into my own sort of creations, and it inspires me truly. Fred asked, as a person of color and filmmaker, what types of roles would you like to see actors or color people portray? I think anything. I think first and foremost, you got to look at it from like an actor's point of view, right? You know, I think actors, they are supposed to embody things outside of them. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have like your Samuel Jacksons and Denzel Washingtons, and where they can just portray themselves, right? But I think a really good actor, like Jake Gyllenhaal, he really does step outside his boundaries. Now, it doesn't like, get to any crazy amount of levels, like like doesn't blackface or anything like that. But like, I think being able to challenge yourself as an artist requires you to step outside of your comfort zone, and thus allowing all spectrums be approachable, and hopes of deepening and really giving forth an authentic experience. Now, for color, for people of color, who are filmmakers and just people in general, I think they should just continue making stories that are theirs as individuals, because what can happen is that you label yourself as just a person of color filmmaker, and that is such a dangerous thing to do. And like, yeah, like I'm a black filmmaker, but I'm also James Adams. I'm also a individual, and I'm going to create the stories that me, James Adams, feels that need to be created, and not just for the sake of me being a black filmmaker. So I would encourage people, who are a different race, different gender, different life experiences, to create your individual experiences no matter what, and I think you'll do it justice when you do that, and I think only good can come from that, because now, maybe a black filmmaker is looking at that and like, wow, I didn't know like a story about like this could be in a setting like this, like, I don't know. That's my take towards it. You guys tell me what you think of that. Spartacus asked, hell yeah, I knew this channel would start growing. When I first saw the word filmmaker reacts, that's when I knew this would be something a little more unique in the reaction category of YouTube. Oh, and my question is, if you were given $80 million to make whatever movie you wanted, what kind of movie would you make? I think I wouldn't need 80 million for sure. I think I'd probably just need like a couple 100,000. But no, I get you. I would say if I'm gonna have 80 million, I'm really gonna go forth and probably not even a movie. I probably would make a TV show. Really stretch that money out. And like a very cyberpunk, futuristic, CGI, but like practically done as well too, like kind of Blade Runner like, and how they did it, but make it a TV series, because I think Blade Runner, I would love to have like a Blade Runner TV series. I think Altered Carbon was close to it. Altered Carbon did a fantastic job with that, but I would love to do something like that. We got Julie asking, what was the important moment in your life that led you to seek a filmmaker career? And did you go to a film school? Yes, I did go to a film school, so to speak. It was Temple University. It's not primarily based a film school, but it had a film school category. And I graduated with a bachelor degree in film and media arts. And what led me to seek a filmmaking career? I think it was just me wanting to tell a story, me wanting to tell an emotion, me wanting to just create a reaction with things that I'm creating myself, and have other people witness it as well too, and most importantly, me as well. I think that's why I've grown into the filmmaking atmosphere, and I'm also realizing that there's more to gain from it. I think there is a pocket where I can tap into and really, plant my name, and not only my name, my artistry in filmmaking, as a visual artist, and really have these incredible experiences that I'm able to bring forth to any realm of media, that filmmaking allows me to. So I think there's a chance for me to really do something different for this genre that we're in, or this career that we're in, that I can do. And I'm confident in doing that too. But it takes time. Folksa asked, what are the movies that have had the biggest impact on you, inspired you the most? What about filmmakers? I would probably answer the first part, because I think the second part I answered already. I would say Her, Blade Runner, What else? What else? What else? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I keep repeating these because these are like my favorite films. Citizen Kane. That was a very it was, yeah. That's when I knew I was like, okay, I love the technicality of these things, especially with older films. What else? What else? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I like Lane from you guys. You guys presented that to me, and I still to this day floored by it. One of my personal favorite experiences I've watched so far on this channel. Jeff asked, "Hey James, what advice would you give to someone with no passion and no idea of what career to do?" Don't I want to make sure it doesn't come off as like cheesy or anything like that. Explore. I would say explore. And what I mean by explore, I mean like physically, mentally, spiritually. That's kind of what I did for myself as well too. And I think the reason why I was able to figure out what I wanted to do at such a young age was because I knew what I wanted to do at a younger age. I knew what I wanted to kind of do. I didn't know where I would be at, but I knew what I wanted to do when I was like in a junior year in high school. And so I'm 23 now, and a lot of people are like, wow, like the fact that you're able to do all this at a young age. I'm like, I mean, I think I like just found out at a younger age. But throughout that time, you know, like there's so many avenues that you could take. You know, you could take the traditional route of filmmaking, which is like, you know, you work your way up and, you know, you're a PA, and then you're this, and then you're helping out the AD, and then you're talking to the screenwriters, yada, and the next thing you know, maybe in like 10, 15, 20 years, you're a director and, you know, Hollywood or executive producer, right? There's that angle. But my angle was always very vagabond-like. It was very by my own sort of flow. And with that being said, I focused a lot of creating and exploring myself. And that allowed me to create my own visual style, you know, and I think that's the most important thing you can have as a director or just as an artist, is your own style. So I would say more importantly, instead of what career you should go into, I mean, if you want to be an artist, then look further into yourself and explore yourself. Go out hiking, talk with people, don't talk over them, listen to them, you know, be very vulnerable to a lot of things and learn. And, you know, and I think that will give you enough time within the next year, 2 or 3, and you'll be a phenomenal artist. But if you want to be just like a producer or just someone within the filmmaking industry, then yeah, I mean, you can go about it the more traditional route. Adidas asked, do you think streaming will overtake the cinema theater experience? If so, why? Yes. Well, I think theaters will die? No, because you got freaking weirdos like us, you know, wanting to go to the theaters and see, you know, art on a bigger screen. But yeah, I do think that streaming will take over because there's not a lot of us compared to the rest of the world. You know, like it all comes down to access and availability, and I am all for, you know, that, because I want to make sure everyone is able to witness what other people are able to witness, you know, and there's no hierarchy towards it. And if you would like to experience more of a refined experience, like going to the theaters or going to Dolby Cinema and getting the surround sound or an IMAX, then you can. However, that doesn't mean that you're exempt from just witnessing it on your laptop. I think the more access towards everybody, the greater. So yeah, I do think streaming services will overtake the theaters. However, theaters will always have its place. It ain't going nowhere. The Historical Man asked, you're clearly a director and a visual artist in your own right. Thank you. Are you purely self-taught, or did you go to film or drama school? Definitely self-taught. And I'll make a video of it too, like my experiences with film school. A lot of it was self-taught. I learned a little bit about the history of filmmaking through film school, but again, like it's a video that deserves its own. But to kind of like, you know, make it brief for the sake of this video, Yeah, I'm self-taught. A lot of the things that I implement in my filmmaking process are from my personal experiences, other people's experiences, movies, music, anime, manga, life in general, hikes, all of that. And I just basically honed in on myself and allowed myself to embrace the weirdness that's within my mind. And once I started doing that, I began to become very good at communicating what was going on in my mind, which is initially the job or role of a director, is communicating that theme, that idea. Hence why I say, really hone in on your art and practice on that, because the better you're able to talk about it in a precise manner in order to really get that emotion from others. And I think that's a beautiful thing that can happen. Hooplehead USA said or asked, "What's the best movie you never want to watch again?" Mine's Requiem for a Dream. Love it so much. Bought it. Ellen should have won the Oscar, but man, it's so hard to watch. I agree. I think Requiem of a Dream is artistically incredible, but it's one of those films that I probably just not gonna want to watch just for the leisure of it. I would say Come and See. Come and See is one of those films where I'm probably not going to watch that again. Come and See is just one of those films. It's just, it's brutal. And I think it just needs one viewing of it. I don't think it needs any more of it. I mean, unfortunately, I kind of had to watch it twice because I had to edit it. But, but yeah, it was a very difficult watch. But it was also very inspiring on an art level, where some of the shots that were portrayed and the story that was told and just how authentic it was and how raw it was. Everything was just to the max on that. All I needed was one. Connor Diaz asks, "Do you have a favorite film that you watch with the family, ones that instantly remind you of the happy times with them?" 100%. Rush Hour. Any Rush Hour. Anything with Bernie Mac in it. Let's see. Is there anything else? Nah, I mean, there's probably more, but I think any Jackie Chan film as well too. I grew up with that. Those are, man, that's when you get the whole family after a holiday, and you guys just are stuffed with food, and there's 20 people deep, just ready to watch a funny movie and laugh, and probably not pay attention to it because you've seen it 20,000 times already, but it just never gets old. Definitely those. Benjamin asked, "What is your favorite and least favorite film you've watched so far on this channel?" Favorite so far? It would have to come down to La Haine or Portrait of a Lady on Fire for personal reasons. And least favorite film. Again, it's not on YouTube, but 28 Weeks Later. But the one that is on YouTube, the least favorite so far, is probably Bone Tomahawk. It's a good film, but I don't know. Compared to everything else that I've watched, it definitely is more low on the radar. Mr. Anita asked, "What is something you wish a younger version of yourself knew about the process of filmmaking?" That's a really good question, actually. I would love to have told myself that it's not as difficult as you may think, that it's actually very independent and you can make it that if you choose to. And I think that's what I wish I told myself, because I felt like there wasn't really a choice in the matter of going about filmmaking. And a lot of people, they become so tunnel vision with how to go about filmmaking, when in reality, just make whatever you want. We're in a day and age now where you can, raise money on Patreon or on anything, or you can just have a phone that shoots really well. And if you have a vision, and you can execute it, and it doesn't have to be a movie. And that's the one thing that, I'm not going to be too careful about ranting on, but if you're a filmmaker, it doesn't mean that you have to have made a movie in theaters. If you're a filmmaker, that means that you've curated work that is visual storytelling that is geared towards you as a filmmaker. And I think that's something I would have loved to have told my younger self, because I was so intimidated by the weight that comes with being a filmmaker, or at least a thought that I, the weight that comes with being a filmmaker. Oh, you have to be this and you have to do that, and then you have to have this before, then you have to have an IMDb, and then you have to do this and you have to have work with that. And it's like, no, just make something. Just make something. And I don't care too much about labels. Like, who cares? The only person that I should know or should ever care about labels is myself. I don't care what other people think of me as in that regard, And I think the fear of that really, chokehold me for a little bit, in terms of just creating whatever the heck that comes into my mind, because, man, I'm happy I did it, because I'm very pleased with the art that I'm creating right now and the art that I will be creating, and then hopefully a potential movie that I can create because I took the time to create that art. But it all begins somewhere, and I think the title of filmmaker or director or just Hollywood itself has so much negative weight towards it because of what other people's expectations have on it. Dude, listen, younger James, create for yourself at the bare minimum. Fernando asked, yo, Darth Vader called. Oh, he's talking about the photo. It was a good photo. He wants his silhouette back. LOL JK, what's your favorite villains or protagonist? Joker. He's incredible. Joker is phenomenal. But I will have to say, favorite protagonist, I'm really loving Daredevil. Daredevil is probably my favorite protagonist right now. I mean, there's so many more that I can list, but I'm trying to keep this video not 12 hours long. So, what would your dream ensemble cast be? People you love to write characters for and see all in one room. Jake Gyllenhaal, Brad Pitt, Elijah Wood, Charlize Theron, Margot Robbie. I don't know. All right, so here's my depiction of that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would love to work with people who aren't bigger, like I love being able to work with people who are still very fresh themselves, because that allows for a lot of interesting moments to be able to happen. But yeah, I get that. Like, ensemble cast is probably it. Maybe like, Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel Washington. Oh man, if he was still here, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, 100%. I think those would be the people. Ilbom asked, why are you so chill? Love your energy. Wish I could have what you have. Trust me, man, it's contagious. You got it too, homie. Do you think MCU films are destroying cinema, like Scorsese says? And okay, got you. I didn't extend this one. But I know what he's saying. Okay, so I did hear what Martin Scorsese said about the MCU and the Marvel films, and I know he asked in this question, do you think there is a place for them to coexist? 100%. Do I agree a little bit with what Martin Scorsese says? Sure. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's becoming to the point where, it's just every other week a Marvel film is coming out, but I think it would be a greater issue if it wasn't good. Like, I really, really do like the Marvel films. Now, does it suck that it's, not allowing for really creative films to hit theaters? Yeah, but I think that's the beautiful thing about streaming, because you're able to kind of experience it yourself. And there's so many other streaming platforms, and then you have YouTube, and then you have all these other things that you can still implement your artistry in, But yeah, I do think there is a coexistence to be had within it. But yeah, Martin has a point. I think he has a point. Fry PXN asked, how do you know what to say in your videos to keep us entertained? I've tried to make commentary videos, but I always stutter and freeze. Any tips? Funny story. My worst subject was English, actually. I would stutter, I wouldn't be able to express my thoughts clearly, and it'd be just so frustrating. This was like when I was a younger child, and I'm not sure what it was that helped me bring out of that. I think I went to like a Sylvan learning school, but I don't think that was for English. I think it was for something else. But no, I think the best way to do it, kind of like picking up a new language, is to practice it. Because trust me, I'm used to being behind the camera and videotaping myself and providing a commentary is always interesting. And I've gotten a lot better. If you look to my very first video, I've gotten a lot better. But that's why I have this mic. Now, I have a lavalier mic where I can, put it on my collar and I can use my hands. But I actually found that I don't think as precise when I do that because it's just a bunch of hand movements. But when I have a mic in my hand, I don't know, for some reason, I'm just able to gather my thoughts more clearly and execute them more precisely. And I actually don't do a lot of hand movements when I'm doing this as well, too. So that's one of the reasons why I have this mic. It's not just because of the fact that it's a good mic. It's for the fact of me not, doing some crazy dance moves and allowing me to, put my thoughts together. So maybe look into that. Maybe next time when you're talking, or when you're trying to talk, maybe have something in your hand. Maybe have something to look at. Maybe, wear your favorite blanket. I'm not too sure. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. Rachel asks, congrats on the 30K. A's for Q's. I'm going to kind of cheat and offer both a film one and a personal one. Go ahead, do your thing, Rachel. Film, what is your opinion on the future of diversity in original stories in film and frankly TV when so many properties are owned by the same and fewer companies and when Hollywood seems reluctant to take and deal with risk and quick to attempt flash and nostalgia? All right, so to answer the first one, I'll make sure it's quick since there's two. I see it. I really do. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, that's what Hollywood is. Like, Hollywood didn't derive from art. And I can make a video about this because it impacted my experience over in California when I started really realizing Hollywood and what it is. It's a business. Hollywood is a business about transaction, about money. It was made by business people. It wasn't made by artists. And that is a giant thing to understand. And hence why they're doing this, like they want money. They want revenue. I mean, they want to be able to make more money than the year before. So once you realize that, then all this starts making sense. And yeah, it does suck because it has such a, prominent stamp on the world, but it's a business. It's not made by artists. Like, artists go into the business of Hollywood. And I'm sorry, but the sequel's probably going to beat your ambitious film, especially when nobody knows you. The personal one asks, what is one or few of your other major hobbies or passions? Do they connect in any way to your filmmaking itself? Yes, I love music. I love drawing. I actually really do love reading as well too, and I would love to teach as well, and it all does impact my filmmaking because my filmmaking is me. So anything that I do outside of that in some way, shape, or form is going to impact my filmmaking. I love going on hikes and traveling, and with that I'm able to experience and then also create art in different biomes, so it never stops. It never stops because I made the conscious decision to make sure that my filmmaking is my existence. I'm able to just have fun with it. I don't have to rely on filmmaking being a 9-to-5 thing for me. It's always a 24/7 because it is who I am. Good question though, Rachel. Gabriella asked, you have interesting choices of movies. Thank you. Shout out to the Patreon. And you are not afraid of films with subtitles. Did you think about more European, Asian movies reactions? 100%. 100%. And I love foreign films because they really do open up a lot of creative and different ways of storytelling. And I think anything that does that deserves a chance. And the fact that a lot of people kind of turn that blind eye towards that because of subtitles. I think it's just very unfortunate because there's a lot of lessons and incredible inspirations you can get from foreign films. But, a lot of people are, they're lazy, and there's nothing you can really do about that. And, but yeah, I do love foreign films, and I do want to bring more to the table in terms of with the channel. It just comes down to, YouTube and the copyright and all that good stuff. That's usually the biggest concern that I run into because of again, just me going to a business YouTube and operating as an artist within it. There are certain guidelines and rules that you have to follow. So it is what it is. Erhan asked, how did you feel about the film La Haine? Your reaction video wasn't really informative at the end. Well, I think the reason why it wasn't really informative at the end was because I was in shock. And I think, you meant no ill will towards it, by the way. I'm not taking it as that. But yeah, I think it was because I was shocked. Again, these are first time reactions. I'm not making these up. And when I saw La Haine for the first time, especially the ending, it impacted me because yeah, I'm a filmmaker, but first and foremost, I'm a human being, and that film brought a lot of, it brought forth a lot of issues, in a very intense manner, and I think very artistically well shot film, and I was shocked. There was a lot I could say about that film. I could, make an hour review about that film, but I was just wow, I was blown away by just everything about what that film had to bring forth, and the challenges that they decided to go with, and just the beauty of it all. I mean, it was just so fascinating, and it was so powerful, and that's hard to really get into words right after watching it. And I didn't want to do any injustice by not talking about its effects on me and without letting it sit for a little bit. So maybe later on in life I'll make a full review on why that film is really important to me and why it's still one of my favorites. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Mark asks, I found your channel today. Hey, what's up? You're a very cool person. I love your content. What do you think about the Academy Awards? First off, I want to say welcome. We're happy to have you. The Academy Awards, I think they're awards. They're award shows. I'm very proud of the people who win the awards, but in terms of it depicting who or which film or actor is incredible, I don't really see it as that. I see it as, a chance to, see your favorite film or your favorite actor win something. But in terms of categorizing them or maybe getting a thought process on them in terms of oh yeah, well, they're my favorite because they won this award, not really. I think that comes down to just personal opinion and your own sort of takeaway from that film or actor or whatever is the case. But yeah, I think they're just awards. Scare Bear asked, what was your favorite part about film school and favorite foreign film? Okay. So La Haine is still my favorite foreign film. And my favorite part about film school was the people I've met. I think the people I've met really shaped who I was able to become. And not anything drastic or anything like that, but basically I wouldn't take away the experiences that I've been through that helped get me here. And though, that means the people I've met in film school. I mean, there was a lot of people, that are genuine people who had a lot of passion for creating, and I'm very grateful to have met them. Seriously. Elliot asks, if you could remake any movie, what would it be and why? Keep up the great work, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, Elliot. If I could remake any movie, all right, I would say there's two. There is Blade Runner. I think I could do an incredible TV show from that. And another film that I think I could remake is actually Star Wars. I have this incredible idea for it. and it's kind of like a spin-off or something like that of Star Wars. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. So somehow, in some way, I got to get in touch with George Lucas because, well, not George Lucas, I guess Disney now, but maybe I'll just like tell George Lucas because. Diego asked, with whom would you like to have a date from Hollywood? It's a good question. All right, I'm going to cheat a little bit here and say I would like to have an ultra date with Charlize Theron and Margot Robbie. I don't know, man. Just something about them. Zendaya is dope, too. What are your aspirations as a filmmaker? What kind of work are you excited about doing in the future? My aspirations as a filmmaker, probably, I don't know. I feel like maybe, yeah, I would love to create like a movie, like a movie or a TV show. That's a good aspiration, but I'm not really, too pressed about that. But what kind of work I'm excited about doing in the future? Most definitely, I would say more music videos. I've done a good amount of music videos actually. But yeah, I would say more music videos. I really love the creative control one can have on the music videos and just where you can take those, I think it's very creative and allows for really interesting narratives to be had. Seven Kaiso said, you're given a budget of $1 million for a film project. All yours. Camera, equipment, basic lighting, mics are already rented, so that's not a factor. What would you do with it? What would I do with it? I would first make sure everybody on set gets paid well, 100%. Because the one thing I don't like is when people who are working hard just aren't compensated fairly. I just think that's something in Hollywood that I just really don't like, and I don't like that that's a standard. But what I would do with it, I would make a very engaging hour-long whatever it is, like it could be, I don't know, let's have some fun with it, like it could be like an actual art piece, where you can go there and you can, I don't know, do something with it. It's very physical and engages with your five senses. I'm not sure. Maybe let's just have some fun with it, right? We got $1 million, so maybe that could be the case. But I mean, maybe like to keep it basic, maybe an hour-long feature or something like that. Bonus question: what's your favorite sandwich? My favorite sandwich: bacon and egg and cheese. Yeah, I make a baller breakfast sandwich for sure. Rambo on Acid, that's a crazy name, I love it, asked, what video games do you play, if any? What video games do I play? A whole lot. I'm about to get Cyberpunk. I literally play every game. I love Red Dead Redemption, GTA 5, Destiny, Uncharted, The Last of Us, all those games. I literally like Crash Bandicoot, Pac-Man. Come on now, I'm a video gamer. Also, what do you think of creative storytelling and video game development in games? Video games have become just as good as films in terms of connecting people with characters, sometimes immersing the viewer better than films can. Would love to hear your perspective on this subject. Yes, I agree. I think video games are just, without a doubt, so much more engaging than movies, it really does put you in a setting where movies really can't do that, and I think it's awesome. And that's again why I love being an artist, because I can tap into different avenues of art, which is video games as well. So to kind of answer your question, what do you think of creative storytelling and character development in games? I love it. I absolutely love it. God of War was incredible. Just the character development with Kratos. I mean, he's like old man Logan now, and he's taking care of his son. And I mean, just like the complexities that you can have with these characters, especially if they're through a franchise. Talk about filling something and connecting with something, especially when you're playing as that character, like, come on. I think that's why I got really mad about what happened to Joel. But like, oh man, Last of Us 2, Jesus. 17th Night asked, what's your favorite genre of film to watch, and what's your favorite to work on? My favorite genre of film to watch is definitely anything that has to do with the future. And my favorite to work on is abstract, like very surrealism. I love working with surrealism. Diego asks, what made you start uploading reactions? The thing that made me start uploading reactions was, if you go all the way back to my channel, right? Like, I started the channel like officially literally a year ago. And I was doing vlogs, you know, kind of detailing my journey through moving all the way to California right after graduating and all that. And the goal was to make it very authentic and to, you know, detail all the things that were happening. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they were really good vlogs. Like, I put a lot of thought and effort into them, even though they were like getting 50 views. Even though they were getting like 50 views. But you know, then, you know, the pandemic happened, and, you know, a lot of stuff was happening, and, you know, kind of like coming back and, you know, going through a lot of mental like instability, like just being unstable. But I still wanted to, you know, continue my love for films, right? And this was a great time for me to get involved with the filmmaking, like the educational aspect of it, because I'm so used to creating that I wouldn't be able to call forth Wes Anderson and Christopher Nolan and, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson film and then link it to yada yada. Like, my education on that regard was kind of low, but my creative output was, you know, through the roof. But I wasn't able to create anything because of this pandemic, and I wanted to continue my love for film. So I wanted to, you know, do something that allowed, you know, not too much creative pressure to create a video, because with vlogs, it does that. You have to really, you know, creatively make the video. But with reactions, they're very easy to do, and I'm actually in the field of filmmaking, so I saw it as a win-win, where I'm able to not put a lot of stress on myself, but also bring a lot of value to people as well too. And then you have like creators like Brandon Likes Movies, where I was watching his films, you know, during the beginnings of the pandemic, and that was a good saving grace for me. You know, I was really enjoying his videos, and it prompted the inspiration and the motivation to start doing this as well too. So hence why you have this, you know, this channel, and it's at 30,000 subscribers, and I'm like, it's just incredible. So I really do thank you guys, and I'm starting to again realize that it's not even just the value that you guys are getting from it. It's the, you know, feeling that you have a friend to talk to, and someone who, you know, shares the same values as you do. And it's so much more than just now the educational value of it all, but just the fact that you have a community here with you, especially during these times. So yeah, that's 100% why I started uploading reactions. And people like reaction. I'm not gonna lie here, like, it was a trend, and like people were doing it, and now instead of getting 100 views, I'm getting like 10 times, 100 times more than that. So it's so that works out too. Fleezus asks, what's your 2020 album of the year? 2020 album. Ooh. Okay. I'm actually going to look this up. I don't know if there was an album. I can list you an artist, but I really do love Tame Impala, JPEG Mafia. What else? I really liked this guy named, and I just found him out. His actual name is Ross from Friends. Incredible electronic producer, or I should say EDM house. He's just one of a kind. He's incredible. And anything with Flume, I guess you could say. And Thundercat. I'm sorry, I keep adding more people onto it, but like, yeah, like they're all incredible. I highly recommend all those people I just recommended. Neon Point Media asks, hey James, I'm a supporter of your amazing YouTube channel. I'd love to ask you, since you're a small filmmaker, if you can give some really good advice on filmmaking for new starters. I've had a really great love for reviewing and watching films and learning about camera movement, structure, and framing in that way they're shot. In the way that they're shot. And I plan on making some experimental short films in the future. Any tips or suggestions? It may sound like a cop-out suggestion because it's probably said to you multiple times, but yeah, it really is the truth. You should just create it. You should just create it. If you have a passion for it, just do it. And I still struggle to this day to follow that very simple rule because I understand that things happen and there's procrastination that gets involved, and then the fear of nobody liking it or the fear of not it living up to your expectations. But no, you just have to create it. Like 95% of the things that I create is very spontaneous in that regard, and it's rarely planned or thought out, because if I think too hard on it, it daunts me. It really does. And I'm more of, me personally speaking, and you can comment as well too, me personally speaking, I'm very spontaneous, and I have to be present in the moment in order to feel the moment and really capture what it is that I'm trying to evoke through the lens or whatever form of creation I'm trying to bring to the audience. And that's what I found. Like, you'll find me sometimes waking up at 4:30 a.m. to catch a sunrise to a beach that is an hour and a half away, and I will do that because I'm inspired to do that. I know that that's something that I want to do, and it really does come down to just doing it, like, really. And I understand, like, it's hard. It's hard. But another thing I want you to keep in mind too is that you don't have to make a movie. You don't have to make an hour and a half, 2-hour thing. Dude, you are not Christopher Nolan. You're not Quentin Tarantino. You're not any Hollywood director. You are you, and you can create whatever the heck that you want. You can make a 30-second experimental thing. You can make a 15-second. You can make a 1-second, just as long as your intentions are pure and that it comes from a really good place and you have a passion for what you're creating. I think it's time well spent, and you are a filmmaker if you decide to do that. So I'm really looking forward into you doing that. Please keep me updated, and let me know. Send me an email or something when you do. Cobb Cannon asks, how do you define cinema? Do you consider blockbuster movies such as DC or Marvel movies as cinema, or in your opinion, is there a clear distinction between movies and films? Thanks. That's a great question. I really like that one. Yes, I do consider them cinema and films. I think, me personally speaking here, the one thing I really dislike is when people within the field try to label, when the field itself, outside of their individualistic mindset, is so gray and so in depth that it's really difficult to even label it. Now, cinema and film, it's just like, it's media, it's what you watch, it's what you experience. And the same thing could be applied to, like, again, the title being a filmmaker. Just because you're a filmmaker doesn't mean that you have to make a movie. You don't even have to make a single movie in your entire life, but the fact that you create, let's say for instance, 5-minute short films, that depict something in your life, you are a filmmaker. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. And the same thing applies for, in my opinion, film and cinema. Like, just because it's on a bigger screen doesn't mean that it's film or it's cinema. Or I say, just because it's not on a bigger screen and doesn't have an audience stuffing their face with popcorn doesn't mean that it's not film and cinema. Film and cinema can be enjoyed by looking at your TV, on your laptop, on so many different things. Like, that's my opinion. So yes, I do think DC and Marvel are cinema and pieces of film, and they should be acknowledged as that. However, I think the question that you were trying to ask is whether or not if they're art. Now, that's a question that probably would require a little bit more diving into. But me personally, I do think that they're art, but there's levels to it. Like, that's like comparing the Avengers to Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Like, come on. Like, the Portrait of a Lady on Fire it would wipe Avengers in terms of every art aspect to it. Because, like, come on. Like, I don't know. I see it as this. If aliens were to come down to Earth and you had to give something that represents humanity, I would probably give the more artistic film to them. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, that's how I would answer that. Let me know your thoughts on that too. Connor asked, what are some of your favorite production studios? Love the content, man. Stay safe. You stay safe too, man. Seriously. A24, Blumhouse. Yeah, I think they're killing it. I think they're doing something right. I love the films that they're creating, and I, again, love that they're so art house heavy, and I that's incredible. Like, I love it. I need to watch more of them films, actually. Noble Rabbit asked, have you considered streaming on Twitch, James versus Games? Yes, I have. James versus Games is coming, and I want you guys to, stay tuned for that. But will it be on Twitch? Probably not. I don't know, because Twitch is becoming very different. And I don't know. I just don't want to have to run into any problems if it needs be. So I don't know. I might keep it onto YouTube, and I have an idea. So just stay tuned for that. James versus Games is coming, but stay tuned for that. I have an idea on how I want to go about, presenting the content from that YouTube channel to you guys. Derek asked, how are you feeling? I'm feeling great. Internally, it could be a little bit better. I think I'm still like a work in progress in terms of like, dealing with depression and all of that. But I mean, I'm not nowhere near close to giving up. I am still a work in progress, but it's progressing like really well. And I have this community that is just so incredible, and I'm very thankful for that. I think it's just just willing to get up every day and have hopes for tomorrow. 100%. That's how I'm feeling. Appreciate that. How are you feeling? Jim asked, what's your favorite movie of all time? Of all time, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Ansley asks, what's your favorite Paul Thomas Anderson and Wes Anderson film out of the ones you have seen? Paul Thomas Anderson. Man, oh man. Which one did I really like seeing from his? I really liked seeing Punch Drunk Love. I think that's my favorite from his so far, because it was just so, like, just the camera movement was incredible. It was next level. Wes Anderson, The Grand Budapest Hotel. That is still my favorite from his. Like, that was just incredible. 100%. My goodness. Alex asked, as a filmmaker, how important is it to follow a beginning, middle, and end structure? Did you ever come across a film that you liked which didn't follow this structure? No Country for Old Men, which didn't have a natural conclusion. Yeah. I don't think you have to at all follow a beginning, middle, and end. Twist it, I mean, I just got done watching Memento, and we're talking about a beginning, middle, and end. I mean, there's none. like Christopher Nolan really, threw that out the window completely. But I think it's because he understands it. It's always great to understand it so that way you can break it. And I think he understood the structure so well. He just said, you know what, I'm going to drop this thing off the 52nd floor and watch it burst into many pieces and then tell the story that way. So yeah, I agree. I think you can tell a story any way you can, you want to. I mean, shout out to French New Wave of Cinema, Ange asked, what kinds of stories interest you the most? Do you have a favorite genre? I really do love art house films as well as futuristic films that have to do with a lot of internal struggle, like internal conflict, because I think that allows for a lot of interesting experiences to occur. I mean, for example, that one film Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal that we saw on the channel for the first time, Yeah, I think that's a perfect example for that. Mr. N64 asks, hello, just here to ask this. What movies would you suggest to someone who has never seen a movie? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Guys, like, I mean, the film is just incredible. Like, I love it. I absolutely love it. I feel like it's nothing too crazy, and it allows you to dive deeper if you want to. But on the surface level, it's just so incredible. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, yes. John Oliver asks, I remember you said you like anime. Do you also read manga? If so, what is your favorite manga? Yes, I watch anime and I read tons of manga. I love manhwa as well, too. That is the Korean art form for manga. And yeah, my favorite manga is Berserk, Vagabond, Vinland Saga, and the OG Naruto. I absolutely love those books. My favorite one really being Vagabond. Vagabond is just a masterpiece. A masterpiece. Please read it if you ever get the chance. Aditya asks, do you fancy yourself as an indie art filmmaker or a big budget Hollywood director in the near future? P.S. Love your reactions. Keep it going, my G. Thank you, my brother. Definitely a indie art filmmaker. I don't really get too much enjoyment from seeing myself as like a big Hollywood director. I love having creative control. I love doing, things that are just so spontaneous and in the moment. And with Indian art filmmaking, it just allows for that. It becomes very personal, and I don't need $1 billion to make a film. Like, I just need passionate people and people who want to, create something incredible and, travel out the locations and shoot there and all that good stuff. So I don't need like $1 billion. I just need a couple thousand, a couple 100,000, and I'll do some damage with that. Anthony asks, what movies have made you cry? Her. Yeah, her definitely did that. Her made me cry. That was a whew. Yeah. Oliver asks, do you watch? Would you be interested in watching music videos to dissect from a filmmaker's perspective? Yes, I would love to do that. 100%. It's just, again, YouTube just doesn't like that. It doesn't like that. However, you guys can tell me about this. I'll be more than happy to do this, on like a separate website, maybe just solely on Patreon, where you guys can just go on, the Vimeo and just watch the videos there. But it's just extra effort in that regard, and I don't want to be too busy with YouTube and their whole copyright claiming nonsense. But yeah, like I think that's something I would love to do. It's just gonna have to probably be like an addition on Patreon, so maybe that might be another tier. It's up to you guys. Like, maybe I'll add more educational reactions that aren't even on YouTube, but you can access through the Patreon. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. Rich asked, what are some of your filmmaking pet peeves? When people label and when people become too political with their stuff, and in a very disingenuous way, because like that can really, like, it just doesn't flow right. It just doesn't flow right. It just feels like a slap in the face towards the artist and towards the people who work on the film. I think when you involve so much of the political yes or no's with it instead of it just playing out, then like it just sucks. I wish that like all that can be the aftermath of the film. Like whatever effect that happens afterwards, but the film is in its purest state. But for some reason, if we're looking at it from like a hypothesis standpoint, like if we're doing like chemistry, we want to like, examine it before it even reaches its hypothesis stage. And it just sucks because we won't see its pure form ever. I think that's the one thing that can really destroy a product, is when you involve too much of the political aspects and minds outside of the true form of the art. BN asks, we know that you love long takes and cinematography that feels alive. What film would you cite as the shining example of such camera work? Come and see. There Will Be Blood. I'm curious as to your answer. Thanks for the amazing content, man. Thank you. Seriously, I would say Blade Runner is a shining example of that. Come and See was phenomenal. And Portrait of a Lady on Fire, that ending scene, like, come on, like, that was incredible. So yeah, those are the films that I would say really do a good job with that, as well as Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. Mr. Happy asks, do you like talking to your fans? Like, do you lay in bed thinking of a comment and be like, damn, my night is made 100%? I think that's what's awesome about this channel, because I love conversing with you guys. I really do. I think it's such a great way to communicate with you all and to talk with you all and to further push the idea and the theme of, recognizing the community. I think a lot of people, and they don't have to, I'm not saying every YouTuber has to or every famous person has to, but I think they take advantage, they don't realize the advantage of just treating your community as people. You guys aren't numbers to me. Like, you really aren't. Like, seriously, I do cherish you guys as human beings that are behind the keyboard or behind whatever phone, and you guys have feelings, you guys have thoughts, and you guys have conversations that you want to have, and I do my best. I do my very best to respect that. And I think, like, YouTube came with a yearly roundup of the analytics, and it said, like, I responded to like 6,000, 7,000 comments. So yeah, my thumbs be working overtime for you guys, but it all comes from a good place. Whew, okay, guys, that basically wraps up all the questions. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but again, I hope that you guys have a happy holidays and that you guys are all doing as well as you can be, and that you guys are safe. And I just, again, want to say thank you so much for the love that you have given to this channel, have given to me, and also have given to the community as well, too. Please, you never know. You could have a best friend around the corner or anything like that if you guys just want to talk with one another. I know the internet gets a really bad rep, rightfully so, when it comes to YouTube and the communities within the internet, but I really do have high hopes for this community, and it's already showing. Each and every one of you are just so incredible and genuine and evoke such incredible conversations, hence why I love conversing with one of you, and I think it's just an incredible experience. So guys, please enjoy your holiday. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to do more in the future with this channel. I mean, we're just getting started. Like, quite literally, we are just getting started, and I'm so excited to just expand more, and only expand microscopically. What I mean by that is expand in a way where I'm able to talk more in depth with each and every one of you as individuals. So I'm just really excited about the potential of this channel, and I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you to all the other YouTube reaction channels that specify with films, or just reaction channels in general. I look forward to collaborating with one of you guys again, and I hope that you guys have us very safe and happy holidays as well. Let's definitely hope 2021 is better, but I already know it will be because we have each other. So let's keep our high hopes intact. Much love as always, guys. Make sure you're healthy, make sure you're hydrated, because we are just getting started.
Purple jacket, pocket full of weed, everything that I should ever need. Grab some matches cause they give them free, just like my time. Hair pulled back in the backseat,